Hello, this is AJ again. Welcome to our next lesson. This one is called Healthy at 100. Healthy at 100 is the name of a book by John Robbins. It's a fantastic book, very interesting. And the topic of this book is exactly what the title says. The topic of this book is how to be a healthy person at the age of 100. Which seems kind of amazing to most people. Can you be healthy? Can you be strong? Can you have energy when you're 100 years old? And the answer is absolutely yes. Now, how did John Robbins write this book? It's very interesting. Well, what he did personally and then with his research assistants, he studied cultures, places in the world where large numbers of people live to be very old. But not only just live to be old, because, if you live to be old but you're weak, that's not very fun. So he studied places that had a lot of very old people who were also very strong, very energetic, very healthy, very happy. There's a big difference if you're 90 years old and you're in a nursing home and you're weak and you're sick. That's a terrible life. But if you're 90 years old and you're out running and you feel great, well, that's fantastic. And there are cultures like this, and there are also a lot of individual people like this. And when I say a lot, I don't mean a lot by percentage. It's a small percent of the human population. But still, there are thousands of these kinds of people. Maybe, I don't know, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe millions. I'm not sure what the exact number is. But you can find these people. You can find specific cultures where there are a lot of them. And then you can find individuals. And so John Robbins was very curious about this, and he wanted to know why. Why do some people live strong, long, healthy, active lives for a very, very long time? Why are some people, so strong when they're older and live so much longer? And then other people, they're 60 years old, they're already tired and sick. What's the difference is what he wanted to know. And so he studied different groups. One of the groups were traditional people on the island of Okinawa, Japan. So now we're not talking, Okinawa now has a lot of modern culture, a lot of American influence. And those people do not live so long, and they're not so healthy. But the kind of people who live on Okinawa in a traditional way, the way they always have for a very long time, those people are very special. They live very long lives, and they're very strong and healthy. They're still working when they're 80 or 90 years old, working like on farms, like hard physical work. He studied another group of people in Pakistan. Same thing. They live to be 90, 100, over 100, and the whole time they're working, doing heavy, hard physical work. It's pretty amazing. And then another thing they did is they studied individual people. There's just certain people. For example, one of my favorites, favorite teachers, he's dead now, but I think he's a great example. I want to be like him. And his name is Paul Bragg. Paul Bragg was, in America, one of the first people to start health food stores. He kind of started the health movement in America. He was one of the first people to start eating organic food, for example. Well, Paul Bragg, he's so interesting. He died when he was, I believe, 96 years old. That's pretty good itself. He lived to be 96. But here's the cool part. This is the part I love. How did he die when he was 96? Was he in a bed, sick, with cancer? No, he was surfing. He was surfing when he was 96 years old, and it was a surfing accident. Like, I don't know what happened. I guess he was surfing and he fell off the board and another surfboard hit him in the head, or he hit a rock or something. It's sad that he died, of course, but he died active. He's out on the waves, surfing in the ocean. Da, 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 da. And he's 96 years old. Awesome. Or Jack LaLanne, another great guy from the United States. In fact, he learned from Paul Bragg. He's still alive today. He's 90 years old. He's still super energetic. He exercises constantly. He swims. He runs. He lifts weights. His wife also They're both like 90-something years old, and they're just so strong and healthy. We can find a lot of people like this, actually. And what's really interesting when you compare Paul Bragg, Jack LaLanne, these different peoples in Okinawa, in Pakistan, other parts of the world, they have similar things. They're all doing similar things. There's a reason it's not a roll of the dice. Remember that phrase? It's not a roll of the dice. It's not luck. And it's not because of their family members. Because Paul Bragg's father and mother didn't live really long and really strong. It's something they are doing. So that's what this book is about, Healthy at 100. And one of the things they study in the book is cancer. Why do some people get cancer at a high rate and other people very, very low rate of cancer? And let me read a little section from the book now, and it's about cancer. And it discusses the reason, or one of the biggest reasons. And it's titled Cancer and Animal Foods. Here we go. If the correlation between cancer and animal food consumption is indeed powerful, you would expect many studies to find a connection between the two. It turns out there are many. For example, a study of 122,000 female American nurses found that those women who ate meat daily were 2.5 times more likely to get colon cancer than those women who ate meat less than once a month. In 2001, a comprehensive Harvard review of the research on dairy products and prostate cancer found that those who had, over the course of their lives, consumed the most dairy products had double the rate of prostate cancer and 4 times the rate of metastatic prostate cancer. A high intake of fruits and vegetables, on the other hand, was associated with a lower risk of advanced prostate cancer. Other studies, including the famous Physicians' Health Study, have also confirmed a link between dairy product consumption and prostate cancer. And a study of more than 12,000 men found that those who drank soy milk regularly, rather than cow's milk, had a whopping 70% reduction in their risk of prostate cancer. Today, men in China who are still eating their traditional plant-based diet without any dairy products have one of the lowest rates of prostate cancer in the world. And no one can say these low rates are due to a genetic advantage, because Chinese American men living in the United States, eating the standard American diet, have rates 10 times as high as their genetic counterparts still eating in the traditional way in China. Whew, okay, that's a little bit difficult section, a little bit scientific, and some long sentences there. Let me just explain what it means. So basically, he's talking about a lot of research related to cancer. And here's what they find, the basic result. The more animal food you eat, so that's meat and dairy, the higher your risk for cancer, the higher the rate of cancer. The less you eat, the lower the rate of cancer. So strict vegetarians, which are called vegans, have the lowest rates of cancer in the world. People who eat lots and lots and lots of meat and drink a lot of milk and eat a lot of cheese, they have the highest rates of cancer in the world. Interesting. It's one reason I'm a vegetarian, to be honest. And another thing that you find is these people like Paul Bragg, like Jack LaLanne, these different people in different parts of the world, they may not be total strict vegetarians. However, they eat very, very, very little meat. They almost never drink milk or dairy products or eat cheese. They're eating a lot of fresh organic vegetables, basically. And, of course, fruit as well. I mean, that's the big secret. Yes, you got to exercise and move your body. That's another part of the book. He talks about that the diet is one big factor, but also moving your body and getting a lot of exercise and physical activity, of course, is very important as well. Those two factors are the biggest factors in determining how long you will live, how healthy you will be, how strong you will be, how much energy you will have in your body. So, I never tell people be a vegetarian because, it's a personal choice. I think people need to decide on their own. However, if your goal is to be a very healthy, strong person, live a long time, reduce your risk for cancer, heart disease, and a lot of other things, you should think about it. You should at least reduce your meat and dairy intake a lot. And, again, don't just believe me. Maybe I'm just crazy, AJ. Go look at the scientific research. Get the book Healthy at 100 by John Robbins. There's a lot of other stuff out there. Do your research. Get on the internet if you want to and do some research. But I encourage you, reduce the amount of fat and meat and cheese and milk and all that stuff. Get it out of your food. Get it out of your diet. Keep it out of your body. And start eating a whole lot more vegetables and fruit. Get some real healthy, vital, energetic food into your body. You're going to feel a lot better. And you're going to get the same kind of energy that people like Paul Bragg have, that Jack LaLanne has, that Tony Robbins has, that I have. All right. Well, see you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, this is AJ. Welcome to the vocabulary lesson for Healthy at 100. Now, I know the vocabulary lesson is probably the least exciting and interesting lesson of the collection, and that's okay. In fact, it's really my least favorite as well. I'd say listen to it one or two times, maybe the first or second day, and after that, you don't need to listen to it every single day. The most important lessons are, the main lesson, the main audio, and the mini story and the POV. Those are the most important, but listen to the vocabulary lesson a few times the first couple days of the week. All right, let's get started with the vocabulary lesson for Healthy at 100. There's actually a good amount of vocabulary in this one. Our first word is correlation. So he talks about the correlation between cancer and animal food. Cancer and animal food. There's a correlation between the two. Correlation means connection or association. It means the two go together. They happen at the same time. If you're eating a lot of animal food, then you're going to have more chance of cancer. They're connected. There's a connection there. So that's called a correlation. Correlation. Now, it does have a little bit more specific scientific meaning if you're talking about research, but you'll learn that in a research class or a statistics class. The general meaning is a connection, an association between two things. Correlation. So correlation. There's a correlation between cancer, high cancer rates, and eating animal food. Okay, next, we have the word consumption. There's a correlation between cancer and animal food consumption. So here, consumption just means eating. Yeah, consumption, eating. Very simple. Animal food consumption. Animal food eating. When you consume, it's the verb is consume. To consume means to eat or to use up. Use it all. So consumption is the noun. It just means eating. Very simple. A little bit later, we have the word colon. There's a study of colon cancer. Women who ate a lot of meat had high rates of colon cancer. So colon is part of your body. It's your gut. It's your bowel. It's your lower intestine. Right? So your food goes in, goes down your throat, into your stomach. From your stomach, goes into your upper intestine, and then finally into your lower intestine, into your colon. And then it comes out your body again. So colon is your bowel, your gut, your lower intestine. Next, we have the word dairy. Dairy products, dairy food. Dairy just means milk or cheese. It's something that comes from milk or cheese. Comes from an animal. You don't kill it. It's not meat. Meat is the muscle of the animal. But dairy products usually comes from the milk of the animal. So milk and cheese are the most common dairy products. Milk and cheese. Dairy products. So the more dairy products you consume, the more dairy products you eat, the more cancer you're going to have, the more disease you're going to have or may have. Your risk is much higher. Next, we have the word prostate cancer. So there was this study at Harvard University, and they found a correlation, a connection between dairy products and prostate cancer. It's a specific kind of cancer. Prostate is a gland. It's like a little organ, a little body part in men, and it's kind of near the penis and testicles. It's down, and it's kind of in that area. It's a little tiny area of tissue, and it is at risk for cancer. So a lot of men get prostate cancer. In fact, my grandfather died of prostate cancer, one of my grandfathers. And a lot of men are at risk for prostate cancer. And the more dairy products men eat, drink, consume, the higher their risk for prostate cancer. Whereas, strict vegetarian men, for example, have a very low risk for prostate cancer. So again, prostate is the part of the body, and cancer is the disease. We see the phrase advanced cancer. Advanced cancer. You know the word advanced. Advanced means, high level. So if we're talking about advanced cancer, it just means cancer that has already grown a lot. High level cancer means very bad cancer. It's not just starting. It's already grown a lot. It's developed a lot. So that's advanced cancer. It's very serious, very bad cancer. There's another phrase. It's not common at all, but it's in the article, so we'll talk about it. Metastatic cancer. Metastatic means spreading. It means something that's growing. It's moving through the body. It's not just in one part of the body. And of course, that's very serious. It's very bad. It's a very terrible thing. Okay. Later, we have the phrase "on the other hand." You probably already know this one, but "on the other hand" means however. On the other hand, people who don't eat dairy products have low rates of cancer. So that means however. Okay. Next, we have associated with. Associated with. So high rates of meat consumption are associated with cancer. And that's the same as correlation. It just means connected. Connected to. So associated with means connected to. Connected to, associated with. It means they go together. They happen together. Next, we have the word whopping. Okay, so they studied men, and men who drank soy milk instead of cow's milk had a whopping 70% reduction in their risk of prostate cancer. Whopping means very big, huge. So it's a huge reduction. It's not small. It's not a small reduction. It's a huge reduction. Of course, reduction means something, make smaller, get smaller. So much less, much less, whopping, big change. Big difference. A whopping difference is a big difference. It's a huge difference. It's a whopping difference. Next, we have the word genetic. The differences are not genetic. So genetic means related to biology, related to family, related to race, right? My father and I are genetically connected, right? His biology and mine are connected. They're similar. And my mother and I and my sister and I, right? We are genetically connected. So the differences are not genetic. It's not because someone is Chinese. If someone's Chinese, it doesn't guarantee they will be healthy. Their race, their genetics, it's not what is important. It's how they eat. A Chinese person who eats like an American is going to be unhealthy. And actually today, many Chinese people are eating like Americans, and they are becoming less healthy. That's happening in many parts of the world. So it's not genetic. It's not because of family or race. It's because of behavior. And finally, we have the word counterparts. So talking about the study between Chinese people who eat traditional food, kind of vegetarian kind of diets in China, and then Chinese Americans who eat American food. So he says Chinese American men living in the United States are 10 times more likely to get cancer as their genetic counterparts who eat vegetarian food in China. Okay, so they're counterparts. Counterparts means a match or equal, an identical thing, an identical part. So in other words, you have genetically, biologically, a Chinese American and a Chinese person. Oh, they're both Chinese, right? Their biology, their body, they're both Chinese. One is living in the United States, one is living in China. Maybe it's brothers, for example. You might have one brother living in China, one brother living in San Francisco. So genetically, they're very close, biology, right? They are counterparts. They are genetic counterparts, genetic matches, genetic equals. Right, so they're identical parts, almost identical, very similar. Two brothers, Chinese in China, Chinese in the United States. Right, they're counterparts, they're matches, they're equals. But the one who eats a high-fat, high-meat, high-dairy diet is going to get sick, has a very high risk for cancer. The one that eats a very low meat, low dairy, almost vegetarian diet has very low risk for cancer. So they're genetic counterparts, but the behavior can determine their health. So again, counterpart means two parts that are equal, two parts that are very similar. And that is the end of the vocabulary lesson for Healthy at 100. Big smile, big breath, on to the mini story. Hello, this is AJ. Welcome to the mini story for Healthy at 100. Let's get started. There was a guy named Joe. Joe wanted to be a famous movie star. Was he a famous movie star? No, he wasn't a movie star. He wanted to be a movie star. What did Joe want to be? He wanted to be a movie star. Did he want to be a TV star? No. He didn't want to be a TV star. What kind of star did he want to be? A movie star. Joe wanted to be a movie star. So, first he decided to get thin. He needed a good body. He stopped eating dairy products. What kind of products did he stop eating? Well, dairy products. He stopped eating dairy products. Did he stop eating cheese? Yes, he stopped eating cheese. Did he stop drinking milk? Yes, he stopped drinking milk. He stopped eating and drinking dairy products. Who stopped eating and drinking dairy products? Joe. Joe stopped eating and drinking dairy products. What kind of products? Dairy products. He stopped eating and drinking dairy products. Next, he decided no more consumption of sugar and fat. He said, I won't consume sugar or fat anymore. What did he stop? He stopped all consumption of sugar and fat. Did he eat sugar and fat anymore? No, he stopped all consumption of sugar and fat. Who stopped all consumption of sugar and fat? Well, of course, Joe. Joe stopped all consumption of sugar and fat. He stopped all consumption of what? All sugar and all fat. He stopped all consumption of all sugar and all fat. Why? Because he wanted to be a movie star. He wanted to have a thin body first. Movie stars are usually thin. So he stopped eating dairy products. He stopped consuming fat and sugar. Next, he studied famous movie stars. He studied them very carefully. What did they look like? What did they do? And he saw a correlation between being a movie star and having big teeth. Did he find a connection between big teeth and movie stars? Oh yes, he did. He found a connection. He found most movie stars have very big teeth. Interesting. He saw a correlation between what? He saw a correlation between big teeth and being a famous movie star. They're connected. Who saw a correlation between big teeth and being a movie star? Joe saw it. Joe saw a correlation, a connection between having big teeth and being a famous movie star. What did he find? What did he see? A correlation, a connection between big teeth and being famous as a movie star. Did Joe naturally, genetically, have small or big teeth? Well, unfortunately, Joe had very small teeth. In fact, Joe had tiny little teeth. Genetically, did he have little tiny teeth or huge big teeth? He had small teeth. Joe's father had little small teeth. Joe's mother had little small teeth. All his brothers had little small teeth, and Joe had little small teeth. It was genetic. Genetically, he had big teeth or small teeth? Small teeth. Was it genetic or was it behavior that caused his small teeth? Well, genetics, right? It was a genetic trait. It was connected to his biology, connected to his family. It was a genetic trait, having small teeth. What was the correlation he found? Well, he found a correlation between big teeth and being a famous movie star. They're connected. He thought, oh no, to be a movie star, I must have big teeth. But mine are tiny and small. He had a problem. So he went to the hospital. And he talked to a doctor. He said, "Doctor, I need big teeth. Look at my teeth. They're tiny. I'll never be a movie star." The doctor said, "I'm sorry, I can't help you. You need to see a dentist. A special dentist." And so Joe went to see a special dentist. A dentist who made teeth bigger. And he said to the dentist, "Please help me. I want to be a movie star. But there's a correlation between big teeth and being a movie star. I have to have big teeth." And the dentist said, "No problem." And so Joe had an operation. Why did Joe have an operation? He had an operation to get big teeth. Why did he want big teeth? Well, of course, obviously, so he could be a movie star. And so he had the operation. It was successful. After the operation, Joe had big, whopping, huge teeth. Did he have whopping big teeth? Oh yes, they were whopping huge. They were big, gigantic, whopping teeth. The biggest teeth in the world. Who had whopping big teeth? Joe. Joe had whopping teeth. What kind of teeth did he have? Whopping, big, huge, gigantic teeth. What happened next? Well, obviously, he became a famous movie star. To be a movie star, you only need huge, whopping teeth. Everybody knows this. So Joe had whopping big teeth, and he was also thin. It's all that was necessary. Joe had whopping big teeth. He became a famous movie star. In fact, 1 year later, he was the most famous movie star in the United States. Why was he the most famous movie star in the United States? Well, because he had whopping teeth. He had the biggest whopping teeth in all of America, in all of the world. Who had the biggest whopping teeth in the world? Joe. Joe had the biggest whopping teeth in the world, so, of course, he was the biggest whopping movie star in the world. And that is the end of our happy story. Hope you enjoyed the mini story. I hope you're smiling. Shoulders are back. Chest is up. Breathing deep. Moving that body. Enjoying your English learning. See you next time. Bye-bye. Hello, this is AJ. Let's get started with the POV, point of view, mini story for Healthy at 100. Same story, different points of view. Since he was 16, Joe has wanted to be a movie star. Since when? Since he was 16. Since he was 16, Joe has wanted to be a movie star. Who has wanted to be a movie star? Bill? Not Bill. Joe. Joe has wanted to be a movie star since when? Since he was 16. Since he was 16, Joe has wanted to be a movie star, starting when he was 16 and continuing. What has he wanted since he was 16? To be a movie star. He has wanted to be a movie star since he was 16. Has he wanted to be a music rock star since he was 16? No, he hasn't wanted to be a rock star. He has wanted to be a movie star. What kind of star has he wanted to be? He has wanted to be a movie star. Has he wanted to be a movie star a little? Or a lot? Well, he's wanted to be a movie star a lot. Really, really, really wanted to be a movie star. He has wanted to be a movie star so much, a lot, since he was 16 years old. And now he's 38. So he's wanted to be a movie star from 16 until age 38. During that whole time, every moment during that time, he has wanted to be a movie star. Well, finally, one day, he just decided, I'm going to do it. I will be a movie star. He decided to get thin. So he stopped eating dairy products. And he said, no more consumption of sugar and fat. Then he studied other stars. He studied them very carefully. And he saw a correlation, a connection between big teeth and being a famous movie star. Now, unfortunately, he has always had tiny teeth. I mean, since he was born. He has had tiny teeth since he was born. Has Joe always had tiny little teeth? Yeah, Joe has always had tiny little teeth. Since when? Well, since he was born, since he was a tiny baby. Starting when he was a tiny baby until age 38. He has always had little tiny teeth. But he decided to change that also. He got an operation from a dentist. And the dentist gave him huge, whopping teeth. What did the dentist give him? The dentist gave him huge, whopping teeth. And so, 1 year later, Joe became the biggest, most famous movie star in the world. All right, that's the end of our first point of view story. You'll notice that one changed a couple times, right? I started with, has wanted to be, since he was 16, has wanted to be. And then we say, he decided. Boom, just happened. And then we went back again, and we said, since he was a baby, he has had tiny teeth, starting when he's a baby until now. Well, until 38. And then we changed back again. Got an operation. Gave him big teeth. Just notice the changes. That's all you need to do. You don't need to remember the name of the grammar terms or rules. Don't remember any of that. Doesn't matter. Notice the changes. Notice when they change, how they change. That's all you need to do. Don't analyze it. Don't think about it. Just notice it, hear it, listen to it. That's all you need to do. Relax. On to the next one. Into the future. Now, here's my idea for a story, and we're going to say for next year. So next year, there'll be a guy. This guy will be named Joe. Joe will want to be a massive, huge movie star. He'll want to be a big movie star. Well, first, he's going to decide to get thin. He'll stop eating dairy products. He'll stop consuming sugar and fat. He'll say, I'm not gonna consume sugar or fat anymore. Starting today into the future, I'm not gonna consume sugar or fat. So he'll do that. Next, he's gonna study famous movie stars. And he'll see a correlation between big teeth and being famous. He's going to realize that there's a correlation between having big teeth and being a famous movie star. Now, unfortunately, Joe's going to have tiny teeth. I mean, naturally, genetically, his whole family is going to have tiny little teeth. And Joe will have tiny little teeth too. So, he'll decide to get an operation. He'll go to a doctor first, then he'll go to a dentist, and this dentist will give him huge, whopping teeth. Big, big teeth. And this is going to be successful. It's going to be hugely successful. In fact, 1 year later, he's going to be the most famous, the biggest movie star in all of the United States and in all of the world. he'll be a huge, big star because of his huge, big teeth. And that is the end of our point of view stories. Hope you enjoyed them. Smile, breathe, move your body, big, big, big grin on your face. Come on. You just finished the point of view story. Rock on. You're great. You're fantastic. You're an excellent English learner. Thank you for being my student. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.